Today, I'm talking with Elijah Mundy, a content creator and strength coach who walked away from competitive bodybuilding after just 1 year and has become a voice that Christian men in the fitness space really connect with. At just 24 years old, he somehow earned the nickname Unk from thousands of followers who thinks he's much older and wiser than his age suggests. You'll definitely want to follow him after this conversation. He's built an incredible community sharing real wisdom about strength training on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And lately, he's been opening up more about how his faith shapes his approach to fitness. We're diving into why he thinks the bodybuilding world is pretty toxic and uneducated, what he wishes more Christian men understood about being the example in their homes, and why he believes that if you're not growing spiritually, what you're doing physically doesn't really matter in the end. Plus, Elijah doesn't hold back about the vanity culture that's really taken over the social media fitness space, why social media has completely distorted what health actually looks like. And here's something that might surprise you. He says he'd rather listen to a physically fit pastor than an obese one. The DMs that matter most to him aren't even about gym advice anymore. They're from people telling him he's helped them get closer to Christ or change their perspective on life. If you ever wondered how to pursue physical strength without getting caught up in the look at me mentality, this conversation will give you a completely different framework. It's about stewardship, leadership, and what it really means to honor God with your body while building strength for generations. And before we jump in, if this podcast has been helpful to your family, would you take 30 seconds to leave a quick review or share it with another Christian family who needs to hear this? We're here to help more families build health that honors God and carries into the next generation. Your support helps us reach more people with this message. Let's jump in. Welcome to Strength for Generations, the go-to podcast for Christian families who want to build strength, restore energy, and deepen connection with God at the center. I'm Krista Baker, Christian health coach, wife, mom, and co-founder of Baker Family Fitness. I'm here to help you honor God with your health and bring peace back to the process, to simplify what it means to build strength in your body, renew your mind, and care for your spirit, all without losing precious time with your family. So grab your coffee and your ribeye, and let's do this His way. Okay, guys, today's guest is someone I had the privilege of working alongside during my time mentoring coaches. And from the very beginning, one of the things that stood out to me was his character. Even in an industry that often focuses so heavily on appearance, performance, and validation, Elijah carried himself differently. His faith was clearly an important part of who he was. What's been really special to watch is seeing him step into his voice more confidently, built content, grown his audience, and began using fitness as a tool to genuinely help people become stronger physically, mentally, and spiritually. Elijah's story started through his athletics and baseball, but injuries forced him into a season of reevaluating everything. Through strength training and taking ownership of his own healing journey, he found a new purpose, helping others to navigate theirs. So today we're going to talk about faith, fitness culture, vanity, identity, discipline, and what it actually means to be a steward of your health as a Christian. Welcome to the podcast, Elijah.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
So happy that you're here. I've really enjoyed watching your content lately. But what I want to do first before we get started is I ask this question to everyone before we dive in. So if you could well, actually, do you drink coffee?
I'm trying to get into it, but then it's like, I don't know. I'm trying, but then it's
whatever your coffee or your drink of choice is, if you could sit down with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ooh. Anyone, dead or alive. I mean, really, if I had the opportunity, it would be Jesus. Because there were some people that did get a chance to see Jesus in real time. Cool thing about that, something I always kind of think about is I feel like God knew what he was doing, placing Jesus at that particular time period. Because if you have Jesus in a time period like right now, where you have, the phones and social media and everything, it would be a lot easier to believe in Jesus. It'd be a lot easier. But if I had the opportunity to be with anyone or have coffee with anyone, it would be Jesus. So yes. Okay. And why? Well, I mean, he's the one that saved me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that saved me.
Funny thing is we could talk to him every day. We just wanna see him, like, actually in person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Like I said, people they have to see things to believe, and that's
Mm.
why I feel like, yeah, God, it was there was a purpose of not having him during a time period like this where anybody can see him. Like you literally pick up your phone and like, oh hey, there's Jesus, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So good. I love it. Why don't you take us back? And I'd love to hear a little bit about I wanna hear about when you started fitness coaching and why, and I know you had mentioned in some of the information you had sent me about, like, an injury that you had had that really
Mhm.
started a lot of this, but why don't you just give us a little rundown of what that was like for you?
So for me, fitness, well, I mean, I worked out in high school. You play sports, you work out. But I didn't like actually take the gym a lot more serious or like wanted to pursue the gym until after college baseball. So like I did have I had a back injury in college. It was well, I also had an ankle injury as well. So I tore two ligaments in my ankle. But I mean, I was able to recover from that. That took about 16 weeks. But the back injury was just ongoing, and I could never really recover from that. And I spent like 3 years in physical therapy for that. So let me see. I want to say it was about 1 to 2 years of therapy in college, or about a year and a half. About a year and a half, I was doing physical therapy still in college. And then the following year and a half after college that I was still doing physical therapy, but nothing had changed. So it was just oh, that was such a rough journey. Um, Going to the gym was rough. So like leg days were hard because anytime I would do squats or anything, I would just have really bad back spasm. So yeah, my journey pretty much started after baseball, and I progressed. I mean, I got stronger and built a bit of muscle. I started looking better, and then you have people that ask you questions, and it gets to a point where it's like, I kind of don't want to just keep answering questions for free, and that's when I decided maybe I should become a coach, and I pursued that. So I mean, if you work for a gym, you do have to get a certification. So like at this point, I don't even use the certification anymore, and I'm not renewing it. But I did have to get a certification to work for LA Fitness, and we went from there. Until now, I'm at a point with the online coaching. So did that answer that question, or am I
Yeah,
missing a part of that?
yeah, definitely. I think, was there any moments, like, when you were injured or when you were going through that you realized, like 'cause I hear this a lot with athletes.
Mhm.
They become like, their identity becomes, like, the sport that they play, like, they just are that and then you're like, "Well, I can't do that anymore." So, did you see that happen in yours, or did faith help to shape maybe the transition that you were making?
At that time, I can't say faith, nothing. I was still a pretty worldly person at that time, so I
Okay.
can't say much of nothing at that time. I would also say I'm not a fan of Christians that act like they were perfect their whole life. But so no, that time period. Oh, I mean, for me, it was get drafted or bust, and like I had no plans. I had no plans. It was to get drafted. That was it. And like I said, I dealt with the injury. And all I knew at the time was, "Oh, hey, I like the gym." That was it. And, I didn't work for a while. I didn't get my first job until I was 20? 20, I think? 20, 21. I started okay, so yeah, 20. I was 20. I think that was around when COVID started possibly, because I didn't work for the gym until September of 2021. But I did delivery driving for just about a year. So yeah, that was probably during COVID. COVID is so far away. I don't even remember
I
when it
know.
was for
I
real.
don't even wanna
But
that time of life. Let's forget about that time.
I think it was 2020 though. But I did delivery driving while I was getting my certification. But unfortunately, you know me, I'm a bad procrastinator, or I was a bad procrastinator. I still have.
Elijah has a tardiness issue. We we dealt
Yes.
with that when, I got to help you with your business and stuff. So do
So
you
so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, like, yeah, so it shouldn't have took me a year to get that certification, pretty much,
Mm.
because I didn't actually do it until I finally got an email saying, "Oh, your courses are about to expire." I was like, "Oh, well, I probably should do this." And it only took me like 2 days to study for the exam. So yeah, I could have got the certification in 2 days. So yeah,
So then how
yeah,
did you
yeah.
get into bodybuilding and learning everything that you know about your strength? Like, you have very in-depth stuff that you
So
talk about, so where did that come from?
definitely didn't come from the NASM courses because a lot of that stuff is outdated. Okay. And that's why I say there's no point in really renewing. And if I do recommend to people, if they're going to work for a gym, yes, just go ahead and get your certification because you have to. Okay. But majority of my knowledge comes from people that I am actually kind of close with now. So like Paul Carter talks a good bit about stuff. Chris Beardsley, I'm not really close with him, but he has some pretty good stuff. And there's other influencers that talk about some decent stuff that I was interested in. So like Dr. Alan Bacon and Alan Aragon. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Aragon. But I'm mutuals with pretty much all of them. So they posted things that they used to be interested in. And I would look into them myself. You know, some people don't really look into things themselves. They'll just see a content creator say something, be like, oh, cool, and just go about their day. But I actually took the time to go look at a lot of this stuff and then look at some studies myself. And that's how I ended up kind of knowing. So it wasn't just like, oh, I watched this creator say something and just go with it. Like I took information and seen people talk about certain things. And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. So I looked into them and I kind of studied them and learned them. So that's how that went with me.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I think it's really smart advice that, influencers a lot of them are bought and paid for. A lot of them say what other people want them to say anyways, but a lot of people have really good information out there too. So I see sometimes on your, content, there's this little battle, people just saying things just to say things and they don't go and do their own work. And you're like, hey, go and do your own work. I'm just here to provide a tool, which I love. That's
Yes.
what I love about watching your growth. Um, so when did you really walk into your faith?
About 2 years ago. So when I moved home,
Okay.
I think when we had started, that was right before I moved home. So when I did move home and got closer with family is around where I started getting better with my faith.
Hmm. So what was it like being a bodybuilder then? Because I do want to talk about the difference between the vanity culture that we see so much in that world.
I'm not a fan
Versus-
of it. I don't like it. That's why I don't do it anymore.
Okay, so how long did you bodybuild for?
A year. I only did 2 competitions and they were like 2 weeks apart and that was it. And I didn't, yeah, that was it. And
It's
that was in 2023. So
okay.
I prepped for 2 shows that year and then I was done.
Okay. So did you see like such a difference in that vanity kind of place? Like we know what God calls
Yeah,
us to do.
yeah. So I kind of one. There's a lot of people that sexualize a lot of things, and I kind of got tired of, especially like watching men sexualizing men is pretty weird too. I didn't want to be one of the guys that other men end up sexualizing because it's just so weird. Like examples, you'll have literally people that's like glute spread when like that was one of the comments I genuinely hated seeing.
Mm,
Um, and I didn't mind blocking people for it because like I don't. It's weird, but plus also I genetically I wasn't going to be built to be a top bodybuilder anyway. So I wasn't finna waste my time with it. I now at this point go to the gym, get strong, look decent, and yeah, I try to avoid posting too much of my physique because yeah, like I said, it's the vanity side of it. And but bodybuilding is pretty boastful and it's pretty self centered, and yeah, I don't really care to be a part of that.
that's so good. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think social media has distorted what health actually looks like?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
steroid era bodybuilding has kind of ruined a lot of people's perspective, and they feel like you got to look a certain way. And like I said, a lot of what people are like their expectations have to do with bodybuilders that are taking quite a lot of gear that they'll never look like ever. So yes, pretty toxic environment or community, the bodybuilding community, very toxic and
Wait,
uneducated, but.
I'm so happy to hear your opinion today. It's like because I always wondered what it would be like. I mean, I've had friends that have been in that game for a long time, and it just really is like all about them all the time. And I'm a mom, so I don't know if I could actually get another 2 hours of walking in a day that like it just would take me away from what would be what I call a real life, like raising children. Like, not that that's not everyone has their own life and their path, whether they have a family or not. But
Right.
the choice that I've made to raise 2 children and to be, a shift working wife, my husband works shift work, just yeah, to not get too sucked into, like, that whole
A
image-based.
lot of a lot of bodybuilding is about look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not saying everybody is like that, but I mean, for the most part, you are showing yourself, and it pretty much is kind of like that. But
Mhm. So I work with a lot of women. A lot of women will put their hand up. I know I actually would like to talk about in a bit about, um, the type of people you really like to work with, like your kind of
okay,
ideal clients, but so I work with a lot of Christian families. A lot of the women will come to me first, but a lot of husbands have been joining my program a lot, which is
mm,
amazing because I find when I can get both of them to come in, like, the success rate in their home just, you know, quadruples. So,
mm.
what would you say, like, or what do you wish more Christian men understood about taking care of themselves physically?
Well, our body is a temple. So, I mean, God would want us to take care of ourselves. And if you really think about it, obesity rates are like just sky high. And if you go back to, let's say, I don't know, even if we talk like times of Jesus, you wouldn't imagine that there was too many obese people. And Jesus would probably end up talking about a lot of those people though, to take better care of themselves. So we're just at a point now where I guess the access people have to these easily palatable foods is just, it's there, highly processed, and it's just there. Very, very dense in calories. It's just there. And people aren't taking care of themselves. And health is just, I mean, you got cars now. There used to like not, I guess, really be cars. So people used to walk around a lot more. You're just finding a lot more things where people can just be lazier and lazier and lazier, but then also eat more calories and be lazier. So, well, I mean, I don't even know if I answered that question for you. You said something about like Christian men and
Yeah, like,
what they want.
what do you wish that they would really understand about taking care of themselves?
You got to be an example as a man, or like the
Mm.
man is going to be the head of the home. Okay. So, of course, spiritually, the man should lead the house. Even though you kind of see a lot of women leading the house spiritually than men nowadays, which is kind of backwards if we read Ephesians 5. So, any men that happen to watch this, you should probably go through Ephesians 5 and learn what it's like to be a man. A man is supposed to be the spiritual leader. Okay. So, just like how Jesus died for us and everything, Jesus died for the church. Okay. So, is Christ loved the church. So I can't remember the which verse specifically. I'm not deep in my spiritual journey, so I'm trying to lock in too.
I'm still
Okay.
working on it too,
Uh,
man. I have, like, the worst memory
yes,
when it comes to that.
but
I just know, what he says because I
yeah,
feel it in my soul.
I'm not my memory is still kind of cooked with some of these scriptures. Um, but the husband is supposed to love the wife just like Christ loves the church. Okay. So like I said, the husband is supposed to be the example, just how like Jesus is the example for the church. Well, the husband is, or husband father should be the example for the family. Okay. And if you're out of order as the father and the husband, I mean, that kind of, you pretty much the family is following you for the most part. 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, the family is following you. So if you're not an example, then that kind of leaves the house just, downhill. So that's my take on that. As the head of the house, you should want to be the example.
Mhm. And, like, physical strength, it doesn't just build itself. So, if we were to talk to these men, where would you start them to be physically strong?
Where would I start them? Are you asking like if I'm taking them on as a client or if
Yeah.
I'm just meeting someone who's probably asking me a question
Well, like,
or
where would you like, let's say someone comes to you and they're like, "Okay, I'm actually not very physically strong. I'm inspired by what you just said. Take me through. What would it look like? What would a plan look like?"
no, I would tell them to go to the gym. We'd end up going to the gym. If there's someone that's needing some guidance, I would probably lean towards, hey, you should probably apply for coaching. But I mean, I would give them some basic stuff like, hey, yes, of course, look to go to the gym. You can go about 3 times out of the week. You don't have to go every day. People have the exception that you got to go every single day. I mean, 3 times out of a week is perfectly fine. Even if you don't have that much time, 2 is still enough. But three is a reasonable spot for majority of people. 3 to 4 times out of the week. Okay. And that should work. That should work great with most people's schedule. All right. So I would tell them, hey, you can go to the gym 3, 4 times out of the week. You can train each muscle group once or twice out of the week. Boom. That's fairly simple. And like I said, if you need like guidance with it, especially like, hey, if you're needing someone to critique your form or whatnot, yeah, then that's where it comes down to probably should apply for coaching, because past me telling you, hey, what you can do, I can't really tell you how to do the stuff because I don't really know you nor know how you do things.
Yeah, I know. I think we get a lot of just being in the industry, we get like a lot of random questions. And they're like, what do you think about this? So I think a lot of men just need to like prioritize their schedule because I work with a lot of men that are farmers, which is amazing.
Okay.
And so they are physically active, but then they don't strength train. And so I'm like, well, we can just set aside a little bit of time to build some lean mass. So when you are doing all of your farmers carries, they feel better and lighter,
Yeah.
easier, right? So that,
Genuinely 30, 45 minutes is fine.
yeah,
30 to 45 minutes can work.
yeah. How do you how does your discipline and faith connect in your life? Does that, because I know that you last couple years you have been really diving into your faith a little deeper. And so do you notice that with your discipline to your physical strength as well?
I don't really care about the gym as much anymore. Like
Okay.
I said, there was, like you say, the vanity aspect with the bodybuilding. But like I said, really, I just go to the gym at this point to where I'm not growing old and withering away.
Yeah.
To not be fragile. That's just it's just basic health benefits that come to strength training. So that's pretty much why I still go. I'm not just going to stop going to the gym just to stop. Um, but I don't. Mm, well, I guess the faith somewhat still correlates with just me taking care of myself. But other than that, I don't find the gym to be that deep anymore.
Mm.
So, like, it is, the gym is a very, very, very small aspect because I want to say it's in Second Timothy. Like I said, we're still working on memorizing our
Yeah.
scripture. I want to say
I put you in class with my daughter.
it's possibly Second Timothy 2:14. It might be. Don't take my word for it. But I know for sure the verses, it speaks on how the taking care of yourself physically. So like the bodily exercise profits little, especially considering if spiritually you're just not there. If you're not growing spiritually, what you're doing physically is not really going to matter in the end. So like I said, I'm at a point where then, yeah, I strength train. But like I said, I work a lot of my life now to where I try to do more for others than worry too much about myself.
That's so good. I'm really, really happy right now for you. Okay, can we talk about what it's been like for you and your whole content creation? Because I remember I remember like auditing your Instagram for when we were working together in that coaching program. And like I actually remember talking to you because I saw that you put a little bit of a scripture in there and I'm like, Elijah, I feel like God's really leading you to something right now. And I'm like, maybe just start making more content because you've got so much wisdom. Like you're really good at what you do. You're a really good coach, but we need to go find more people and tell them about what you do, right? And I know like at
Mhm.
that point you're like, I don't care how far this goes. Like it just wasn't a big deal, but things have really, really heated up for you when it comes to your content. Do you want to just tell me a little bit about what that journey's been like for you?
So yeah, like I said, there was originally the ones that pushed me to create content were the clients that I had in person, which I ignored for like about 2 years because like I didn't want to be on social media doing stuff, and I didn't feel like making videos and having the editing. So like I'm at a point now, like YouTube videos, if I record what I go do in the gym and stuff, I send the videos to an editor. I don't feel like doing it. So the less I do, the better. That's where I'm at right now. The less I do, the better. So I have an editor for that. Now Instagram videos, TikTok videos, I'll edit that. That's not that deep. That won't take as long. But like the YouTube videos used to take me like kind of hours to make, like 3, 4 hours to do. But I think the editor does them in like, I don't know, an hour or two. So hey, kudos to him. But it started rough because like I said, originally I didn't like content creating. I just did it because, oh hey, you should post content. And you encouraged me to keep doing it. So I did it. And then over time, you would just, hey, here's a new person here. Here's a new person here. Oh, I really like your content. Here's a new person here. And I kept pushing it. I kept pushing it. And then it was crazy. I get called Unc. So like a lot. Unc is literally anytime Unc is mentioned, people know it's about me probably.
Okay, and then wait, after you have to tell us where that came from.
Yeah. Um, pretty much just someone said it in the comments. I look old, I guess. I don't
You
know.
do not
Bald.
look old.
It was literally because at the time I was bald, had a beard, fairly large. Oh, this guy must be mid-30s, 40 years old. Whole time I was like 24 at the time. When I started the content creating, I was about 24. So it was just like I remember the first person commenting on TikTok. Oh, he asked me a question, said Unc, and I'm like, dude, I'm like 24. What are you talking about? Unc. He's like, oh, my bad. And then pretty much it just got to a point where everybody was just saying it. And then as I grew, so like originally, like I said, it was down. I was about 2,000 followers on TikTok and like 1,000 on Instagram. And just as the following kept growing, I just kept seeing more and more Uncs. Because you will see, some people will see other people call me Unc, and then some people just came and thought I was old, and they would say Unc just for a joke. But it became a community thing where it's like, oh, hey, that guy is Unc. And that's pretty much how that was. But other than that, the content creating, I guess I can say it changed my life, I guess. There's, like, I'm at a point now, I don't have to coach that many people at once. There's brand deals that I have that cover a lot of bills and stuff, so I'm fine. So a lot of my time, I'm free. I do what I want when I want to do it. I can work when I want to work. So that's cool. And for the most part, I deal with a lot of questions every day that I just don't care to entertain anymore. Because one, you can join a training group. That's the easiest thing you can do. Is $1 a day. Two, I have one-on-one coaching. So if you can afford one-on-one coaching, well, you can hire me. And then three, if you don't want to do either of those, you can just kind of scroll through the content because the content doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, there's plenty to learn from. There's people that complain about it. So they just want as much as they can get for free. When, like I said, my pinned post answers 90% of questions.
Yeah,
90.
you do. I see that
If I
you're
tell you
answering.
look at the post, is 90% of those questions are answered already.
Yeah, but people are lazy. They just want and they want to give you a hard time too. Can I tell you what my favorite thing is when I see your content come into my feed?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love when you share pictures with the kids. Like your nieces and nephews, right?
No, they're my siblings.
Oh, those are your siblings. Okay.
They're
And
adopted.
then the ones of you like church day, like on Sundays when you're like, showing your fit and you're just like, you're on your way to church. It just like, I think that's my favorite. I see sometimes that you're dealing with a lot of not arguing, but people just kind of coming at you. And it's interesting because they're just keyboard warriors. They don't know you.
I enjoy it. They think I'd be mad, but I genuinely enjoy, I enjoy it. It fuels me because, mind you, I'm probably laying in bed talking to these people
Yeah.
and doing whatever they're doing. So I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And they
Were
think
you
I'd be mad. Oh,
What's that?
they think I'd be mad, but I'm genuinely and just enjoying the banter. So,
Okay. Well, that's good. But
no, those kids are their adopted family. So
okay. I know that you share a little bit about your faith. Has anyone given you a hard time about that?
yeah. I have a lot of Muslim followers. So there's people in my DMs there's people that DM me about it. Like if I maybe post something on my story dealing with Jesus or saying something about God or posting maybe scriptures. There's some people just say, "Oh, God's not real," yada yada. I had actually this past Sunday, I had mentioned my mother. So my mother, she was watching the live stream of an event I was at for my church. We was at a certain location, and it was like probably about 2,000 or 3,000 people there. I worked security for the church. So we ended up working at that event as security as well. So I'm on the stage and whatnot, and she sees that I'm on the stage, doing security stuff. And she sends those pictures in the family group chat and talking about how proud she was and whatnot. And I had posted that. And then the next post I had said, one day you will be your mother's answered prayer. And somebody slid up talking about God is not real and whatever else he said. I ignored it. So yeah, I mean, I kind of deal with a lot of people with being against me being a Christian. And like I said, a lot of my followers are Muslim. I don't ever go like hate at them or anything. I still talk with them in love. There's some of them that come to me respectfully, and then there's some of them that, of course, come quite disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them I do have conversations with. Some of them I just ignore it. It just kind of depends how I feel because I have too many DMs. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that that's important too, because we know that not everyone's going to love us because of our faith, and that's okay. I remember when I started, like when I made the change to just say I'm a Christian health coach, I think that was around the time that I was working with you. And I was really afraid to do that because I didn't want anyone to not work with me, because I actually identify myself as a Christian health coach. Well, I'm actually certified as a Christian health coach too. I took biblical courses so that I can integrate biblical teachings into our wellness. And it was really
mm,
important for me because I want to be able to pray for my clients. I want to be able to like know that even when people come in and work with me, that they're getting closer to the Lord. That was important. It was such an important piece to me. So I was so afraid to do it. And there were, some of the students that didn't want to work with me because I was Christian. And I had
yeah.
never really
And
received that from like my own client journey. I had it over here and I was like, okay, well, obviously God's closing a door for a reason. Like maybe he doesn't want me to do this anymore too. And he wants me over here a little bit more. And I think that that's really important piece. And I've admired that part of your journey because I know that, I think in the beginning it takes a little bit of courage and then it's just like, oh no, but this is who I am. And then you get to be who you are.
it gets
Right.
to a point where it's like, it is what it is. Cause like, that I see that there's literally been hundreds of people that have DM'd me or commented that I've helped them get closer to God.
Mm,
And I don't even post that much about God, but I've started to. Like, but most of it is on my story or like in my YouTube videos. And there's people that watch YouTube videos and they'll thank me for mentioning God or telling me certain parts, or me telling them certain parts in my journey or giving scripture for certain things. There's people that thank me for that, and
mm,
I'm pretty grateful for that. So like, and people also are pretty grateful that with my content that I give a perspective that there's more to life than the gym. Because like I said, I don't. There's only so much that the gym is going to do for me at this point, especially considering as long as I've been training. So I try to give more of my energy to just others, being a blessing to other people. And a lot of people have taken that into their lives, mentioning how they look to be a blessing to other people. Oh, hey, that there's more to life than the gym. It's cool seeing all those DMs and comments. So
yeah. I'm going to keep praying for that over you every day.
yeah.
Just be like, let's have more of that.
Yeah, so
Um,
in the midst of the hate that I get, there's a lot of people that
yeah.
are thankful for what I'm doing. So it is what it is. I can't. Everyone's not going to love you. It is what it is. So just like there wasn't everyone did love Jesus. So I can't expect to be loved by everyone.
Okay. So we want to get people really strong and we want to teach them to eat well. What is your approach? If someone comes into your program, how do you run stuff? How do you start things off with them? Where do you typically go? And then, yeah, what does it look like to work with you? Because I think I want to make sure that anybody listening to this today that's looking to have an amazing, I believe, one of the best male coaches that you could possibly hire, I highly recommend Elijah. So why don't you share with us a little bit about what that would look like?
So for the most part, I have a general idea of the amount of calories to start with if I'm just seeing someone's weight. Even if we're off, it's not going to be by much, and we can adjust within a week or two. So let's imagine someone could be about, let's say someone's like 220 pounds. I guess we're talking about a male. So let's say 220 pounds. He's possibly 22% body fat. And depending, because I mean, I would have a questionnaire. He would fill out a questionnaire. So, I mean, I kind of get to know about his life. We would first have a Zoom meeting, like an onboarding meeting. And then the questionnaire would come after where I kind of learn more about him. And then I would end up setting up his folder. But once I kind of have an understanding of this person and what their lifestyle is like, I would know if they're pretty sedentary or I would know if they're pretty active, whether it's dealing with what they currently do with, like, let's say the gym, maybe they run around, all that kind of stuff, or if they have a pretty physical job. Okay. That all kind of depends on how I would end up setting up their diet. Right. So if they're a little more sedentary, then I don't have as much room to work with their calories. And if they are someone that's pretty active, then you have a little more room to work. But what we would work with more would be the carbohydrates. There wouldn't really be a point in increasing the protein, or wouldn't be a point in increasing the fats. You can kind of have protein set for sure. Let's imagine, again, we're talking about a 220-pound individual with about 22% body fat, just somewhere around there. Understanding that protein overfeeding isn't going to change anything with muscle growth, because if you want to build muscle or retain muscle mass in the first place, you would strength train. If you remove strength training, you remove the resistance training. How much protein you eat, how much protein you eat is irrelevant. You can just sit at home all day and eat protein. You won't build any muscle or retain any muscle. So you wouldn't understand, if you strength train, that is why you build muscle and resistance training. So if I had this 220-pound individual, you can set him at about 0.8 grams per pound with the protein. So he would be perfectly fine between 140 grams, 180 grams. Okay, and if he loses weight, let's say he loses weight and gets to about 190, 180. You never really have to pinpoint, you have to have this exact amount of protein. It can fluctuate between the 140 and 180, and it can stay there for life. Okay, that can stay there for life. So the protein is relevant. Again, the biggest change that we would play with would be the carbohydrates, how much carbohydrates he would have. And we would play with that based on what he does throughout the day, how active he is or how sedentary he is. Because again, might have more room to work with if he's pretty active. If he's not active, we would have a little less room to play with. And that's pretty much that. I mean, I just get an idea of who they are and what they do. Like I said, the fats also fill in. If they are someone that wants to have a bit more fats, we can have them to where they have a bit more fats. But if not, it doesn't really matter. But the biggest thing that we change with diet-wise would be the carbohydrates. Now, if you wanted to get, I guess, into, I don't know, more of the micronutrients, I mean, that's basic stuff. You can have at least 1 to 2 servings of fruits and vegetables for the day. That's pretty basic. Fiber, you don't have to overdo the fiber. That's not something you have to exactly track. That just depends. But I mean, just if you're eating whole foods, for the most part, you're going to be fine. You're going to have a hard time having issues with people that's eating, potatoes, rice, chicken, beef, any other protein sources. So elk, like I personally like elk and venison. Like those are going to be your more micronutrient dense proteins anyway. So just eating chicken, rice. That's how you kind of miss out on more of your micronutrients. And you don't have to have the micronutrients exact every single day. Like I said, you could just rotate things all the time. That's pretty much how I go about that. And I know I yapped for quite a while, but
no, I think that's actually really good advice. It's just there's some people I'm like, told you so. No, just kidding. Because sometimes you just need to hear it from another source, right? Like that's all it takes is just one person to say it a certain way, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it, right? And I think that that's really good wisdom there. I know I've got guys that are, because a lot of husbands have joined my program, and I've got men that maybe weigh 170, 180, and they're eating like 4,000 calories, but they move all day long. And they just move, and they still stay the same weight. They're getting stronger. So I'm tracking that. But I'm like, don't worry. Like but then I have some that, they're coming in from a higher weight. We're trying to get the weight off, but they sit at a desk all day long. I'm like, we can't feed you more. Your body doesn't do anything with it. And so let's just start focusing on getting stronger, build some muscle, and then we'll feel better. I think one of the first things is like you start to see their energy levels increase, and that's fantastic because then you're a better dad. Then you can serve your family more. Then you can show up at church and serve, and then you can do all those things that we actually want to do, but we're just kind of lazy. We've fallen into the world's way. And I think the marketing strategies are like kind of getting us to go on all these different directions and worry about all these things, but like, let's just dial in on your foundation. And I know that's something that you really like to do with your clients. You're like, nope, you're not skipping steps. Nope, we're not going anywhere else. You don't need to worry about these like little micro things. What would you say people waste time on that they don't need to when it comes to their health?
That kind of depends, because I have a niche here that overcomplicate everything with strength training, but I don't know if like the group of people that you train and deal with have the same like I said, the people that I see it's they make strength training so complicated for nothing. So for me, it's people that complicate strength training. So I don't exactly know your side to it.
Yeah, but that's good for people to hear because I mean, mine is, I think a lot of people that I work with, they're just the way that women are marketed too, that they're just broken and that they need fixing all the time and their metabolism is broken and their hormones are broken and everything is broken. And it's like, well, we're just not doing what God said. Like, I think about creation
Mm-hmm.
and he provided everything that we needed then,
Yes.
right? Man came in and said, hey, I want to make profit over here. So I'm going to make this thing. Okay, cool. Don't fall in the trap of this man who doesn't really care about how you feel long term, but God does. So, okay, what would you say to the person listening right now that feels frustrated with themselves physically?
Make a change. You gotta. So again, you have to look to be an example for people in your life, right? So there's people that ask me. I've actually gotten that question from other people too. Um, but like I said, you can't. Is well, for one, yeah, you do want to be better for yourself, but again, you got to remember you're as a Christian, you're also being a light to others, right? We're just being realistic here. I would probably listen to a more physically fit pastor over an obese pastor. That physically fit pastor seems to actually care more about himself than the obese pastor, you know? Um, so, I mean, the image does somewhat matter, but I low key just kind of forgot the question that quick.
No, that's okay because I actually really like that response because I have struggled a little bit in the church. I think leadership. So, leadership in businesses, leadership in homes, leadership in churches. We look to leaders to lead us well, but they're unwell. And so it's like, I personally feel like I can't take the advice from someone. I don't need to be super jacked to be able to teach you about health, but I can't be sitting here eating bonbons and like shoving food in my face all day long and trying to teach you that, you know, being healthy at any size is actually a good thing. I don't
Yeah.
personally believe that, right? But I think what I had said, I think you answered it to someone who's feeling frustrated with themselves and yeah, like getting up and doing something. Actually, so my podcast is called Strength for Generations, right? And when I prayed over what to call this podcast, it means a lot to me. But what would that mean to you? What does Strength for Generations mean?
Ooh. Did you say what it meant for you already?
No,
Or you need me to?
can't give you my.
Okay.
I can't give you
Ooh,
my answer. I'm asking you.
strength for generations. So, well, considering this is a Christian podcast and the route that you're trying to go, I would look at it as looking to encourage generations with their spiritual growth and their health, I guess, growth, their health growth, what they're doing with their lifestyles. So just growth overall with their lifestyles.
I love that. Well, I love
I
the
guess that would be my take on that.
yeah, and I love that because I watched you train your mom and how strong she is, and I know that you've had such an impact on her, and that's that generational stuff. You know
Mm.
that you are an answer to prayer. When your mom sees those things and you're saying, "Hey, like my mom prayed for me. This is an answer to prayer for her right now." And the generation behind and then the generations that are going to continually come.
Mhm.
I truly believe that it's our job to like, I'm a mom, so and I love being a mom. It's one of my favorite things on the planet. And I want to make sure that all the stuff that I had to deal with in my own childhood and my parents' childhood and their childhood before, I don't want to hand some of that stuff down. I want to hand some stuff down, like the good stuff. But there's other
Yeah.
things that I'd like to just be a little bit better with. And then the next generation can hopefully be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that's why
That's
I
like I
like
said.
yeah. And God
uh,
says like we're supposed to, we're commanded, like he says he will do things for our generations if we stay true to him. So he blesses the generations upon
Yes.
generation upon generation.
That each generation should get better, and that brings back to where you asked about I guess the father or the husband, or the man of the house, what they should do about their health or what what I forgot exactly the question, but again, as if you're not the example as the husband and the father, that kind of brings the house down because again, the house is looking up to you. And for me, my family, my parents are they're first generation with their wealth, right? My dad has started off, my mother, of course, as well, and now I'm on the route with continuing the generational wealth, and I'm supposed to be better than them. I'm supposed to grow and be better than them. And as of right now, thankfully, thank God for it. It seems like I'm on track. Because what my dad was doing at 26, I mean, he was in the military, and what my mother was doing at 26, well, they were both in the military. Um, so I don't know exactly what they were doing at the time, and I guess how they were able to make it at the time. Like I said, I mean, I'm at a point right now. I can cover for if I have a significant other, I can cover for me and her. If I have a family, I do want to be able to cover for the entire family myself. Whatever the wife brings in, hey, congratulations, that's extra money. But I definitely want to be at a point where I can take care of a family myself. And I feel like I'm currently on the right track for that. So that's good.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And to be honest with you, like as a working mom and someone who has been doing this a very long time, there's times where you're just like, I know I can rely on my husband that I don't have to do all the things that I do, but I get to, and I am honored to, and I do it for the Lord. And I love being a mom. I don't want anything that I ever do as the mom in the home, the wife in the home, to take me away from that job because those are my first, right?
Hmm.
And then I can say yes to other things and be very mindful of that. Okay, so I have a last question for you.
Okay.
At the end of your life, what would you hope people say your work truly helped them with?
Well, the main thing is that I helped people come to Christ, that I was a vessel. Because again, that's the bigger thing for me at this point. Like I get people telling me that I helped them with strength training and everything. Ah, cool, whatever. But like I said, seeing a lot of the DMs about how I change a lot of people's perspective on life and how I've also helped people come closer to Christ. Those are the DMs I value more than just, oh, hey, you helped me with the gym. Thank you so much. Cause like, I mean, I don't even really care about the gym that much, but congrats, you know? So that's one, but I mean, I would appreciate of course, people like, oh yeah, Elijah Mundy gave a lot of good strength training advice too. But like I said, I definitely want to majority of what people talk about at least, or at least what people feel is, oh, hey, I helped them change their perspective in life and help them come closer to Christ.
Hmm. Amen, brother. Honestly, okay, I really hope your mom listens to this because I want to tell her, like, well
Absolutely.
done. You did a really good job raising him. He has always been such a true place in my heart. Like, even as I got to like work with you as a coach, I was just like, I just I don't know. I'm just really proud of all the work that you've been able to do and all the people that you are going to serve. And that, I truly believe that your wisdom is needed for coaches. To be honest,
Hmm.
like I think if a coach is listening right now, that they should work with you to learn your modalities because you have a way of educating people in such a nicer light that's where I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to keep praying for your
Thank
opportunity
you.
to continue to grow and find some nice lady and have babies and
Yeah.
do all the
Yeah.
things. But
We're in the
yeah,
works for that. In the name
what's
of
that?
Jesus. And we're in the works of that in the name
Yeah.
of Jesus.
Okay.
Yes, I actually
Amen.
had my fifth date on last Thursday. We had
Okay.
our fifth date last Thursday, so
Good. Make
gonna
sure
be
you get a
going.
lot of marriage counseling before you do anything because you're gonna need it. I'm just saying. Okay, so I will put stuff in the show notes, but where can everyone connect with you, follow your work, learn more from you, even apply for, if they want to work with you? Tell everybody.
Well, my Instagram handle is Elijah_Mundy_. TikTok, I think, is the same thing if it's not still Coach_Mundy. And the YouTube videos, I mean, also Elijah Mundy. So like if you like long form content, I do have people that do appreciate the longer form content where I kind of just yap. So Elijah Mundy on YouTube, and that's about it. And if you did wanted to work with me, the links in my bio actually kind of has everything. So like whether you're looking at the clothing brands I'm with or like the fragrance stuff that I got, yeah, everything is kind of that link in my bio. So
Well, I'm so grateful that you came today. I'm so grateful that we got to connect again. And
thank you for having me and asking for me to be on here. So and so this is kind of, well, I wouldn't say new. I think I've done one other one. But like when you said, you said podcast for an hour, I'm like, an hour? I don't know if I can talk that long, but
you
I
can
wouldn't, I
talk
guess it,
that long. I just got to ask a lot of good questions.
yeah, I guess it wasn't that. So yes.
All right, my friend. Thank you for everything. Thanks for tuning in to Strength for Generations. If this podcast encouraged you, it would be a blessing if you took a quick minute to leave a 5-star review. It helps more families hear this message and find hope for their health and faith journey. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you. And if you feel led to share this episode, text it to a friend, post it to your stories, or send it to someone on your heart. God might use it to encourage someone who really needs it today. And don't forget to eat steaks, lift weights, love Jesus, and keep doing it His way.